Alright guys, today we are going to be changing the fluid in the transfer case on my 2014 Infiniti Q50. Unfortunately, this vehicle got stuck in a flood where the water went up about a foot high. It's now a salvage vehicle. I ended up buying it back from the insurance company. I'm going to try to get this bad boy R-titled now. But I'm going to go through all the fluids and make sure no water had gotten anything. And at some point I'm going to rip out the whole interior, pull the rugs up and make sure no mildew or anything's growing under there. I know a lot of people tell me I'm probably going to have electrical issues in the future or whatnot, but that's alright. I like the car. I didn't want to get rid of it. And I literally just got done doing the VR30 swap on this car, so I'll take my chances. Anyway, this is the pump that I'm going to be using. I got this off of Amazon. I also use this to drain and fill the trans on this car. I got different adapters. We'll use this for the transfer case. And the fluid we're going to be using is the Nissan Matic S, what the factory calls for. Can't remember how many quarts goes in there. I usually just wait till it starts dripping out of the fill plug, but I'll put in the description how many I use when we're all done. I'm going to get the car up on jacks. I'm going to put 2 jack stands in the front, and then in the back I'm going to jack it up on the rear diff, and I'm going to get the car leveled on the ground high up. This way when I go to fill up the transfer case, I'm getting an accurate fluid reading. I'm not just going to jack up the front and add fluid because it's not going to be accurate. So let's get started. Alright, so we got the car on jack stands, one on the front side, passenger side, and one on the driver's side, and both on the front, and then on the rear, we are on the rear diff, jacked up. So I got the car completely level in the air, and we're doing the transfer case fluid change. I'm going to get under there and get started. I'm going to have to take one of those covers off under there. Alright, so in order to do the transfer case fluid change, we got to get this bottom cover off. It's pretty easy. There's 2 bolts in the back. And we got one right up here. That's one. This is on the driver's side. And then we got another one on the passenger side. In order to get it off, I got a 6/8 extension here with what I believe is a 14 mil. So we'll take these 2 bolts off and then we'll go to the front. Alright, so in this particular case, I'm going to be lazy. I'm just going to let the cover hang here, and I'm going to put my drain pan right here. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would recommend taking the whole cover off, but yeah, and I'm just being lazy. You don't have to. Now when you're doing this service, I would recommend spraying the top bolt with some type of solvent like I have here. I use this knocker loose. I think it's a lot better than PB Blaster or WD-40 or anything I've ever used. It's pretty expensive, but it is good. Now I'll spray this top one. You always want to make sure that you get the top bolt off first. You don't want to start draining it and take that bottom one out, and then you realize you can't get the top one out, then you can't fill it with fluid, then you're going to have a bad time. So I'll let that sit on there for a little bit. I'll even spray the bottom one over here. And to do this job, you're going to need a HW10 hex socket. That is the correct socket to get that drain plug out and that fill plug out. Alright, so I got my long 3/8 ratchet, and I'm just going to break this free. Alright, I didn't have it very tight to begin with. I just done this not too long ago. So I'll take that top plug out. And then I'm going to break my bottom one free. And if you don't have a long ratchet like this, my favorite trick is just a little ratchet with a pipe over it for some leverage. Break it free. Alright, and we're draining it. And you just want to make sure that The washer came off with both the drain plug and the fill plug. Make sure you have that on there. Make sure when you weren't taking it off, it didn't fall into your drain pan or something. Just want to make sure you got them. Okay, I'm going to put my drain plug back in over here and tighten that up. Because you just kind of want to make this snug. You don't got to go crazy while you're tightening it. You don't want it to snap. Alright, I'm just going to fill up my tool over here with 1 quart of the Matic S. I'm going to start with a quart. Let's see if we need to add any more after that. So actually, I'm going to do 1.5 quarts, just so I'm not going to crawl underneath the car and back up again. I don't think it takes much more than that, if I recall correctly. Alright, so I'm going to stick my adapter in there. And on this particular tool, you got to pump it and fluid will start to flow. Just like that. Now once fluid starts having a nice steady drip coming out of that fill tube, then you're done. You can put the plug back in, that's all there is to it. Alright. You don't want to be like me and put a little bit too much, but I'm just going to sit here and wait for it to have a nice steady drip, and then I'm going to put the fill plug back in, and I'd say that's about good enough. I could probably let a tiny bit more drain out, but it's not going to hurt nothing. I prefer to have a tiny bit more in there anyway. Then we'll just tighten that up. And that's it. Then we're going to put our shield back up. Yeah. See, all tight. Snugged up. Alright guys, and when you're putting this shield back up, the driver's side doesn't have it, but the passenger side has like a little clip. And when you're moving it back up, you just want to make sure that you get it in that slot. Just like that. And then put your bolt back in. Alright, and we're all wrapped up. Hope I was able to help you guys out.